Okay, so we are now going to start working on the top, as you can see in this nice low resolution image. Now what we will do is we will first go ahead and we will actually create the entire top, but then it's just going to be like the lid. Like all these small details, we will not do those because we are going to use symmetry for those. But in order to do symmetry, we first need to find out the dimensions. So let's go ahead and press Shift A. Let's go to Mesh and create a cube. And it has like a little profile. So I think what we want to do is, follow my lead. Because it's a bit difficult to explain. I just have an idea in my head. First of all, however, let's have a look. Okay, so we want to go ahead and scale this in to roughly as far as we want to have this sticking out. So yeah, I think something like that would work. Scale this out and just make sure that, let's make this a bit more. Yeah, okay, here, that looks good. Okay, cool. So next thing would be to just sink this in a little bit. And the idea that I had is to first of all, let's press Q and reset all transforms. And then select this face and we want to just inset this face and then move it up a little bit. That's the idea I had. So let's press I to inset. Let's inset it up until around this point and then press I again to inset because we do of course need to create a bevel. And then this one we can actually move in. So we get like a little interesting piece like that. And then it sticks out. Then it has like a little tilt over here, which means that this one, I think we want to just go ahead and make this a bit smaller, something like this. Now we want to scale it, and you can try to scale it like this. I don't know, is it even? Yeah, okay, so scaling, if you just scale it on this white line over here, or just a big white circle, it should scale even. If it doesn't, you just need to scale it per axis, but I think this is even. Okay, and now it has like this little lip around here, so let's go ahead and let's press I to inset this. Probably to around this point, I think looks good. And now all we need to do is just do Shift E, extrude this out. And I think that's it. That is it. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now we are going to prepare this for symmetry, so that we can make all of these details nicely in symmetry. Not too difficult to do this. First of all, what we want to do is Ctrl R. Simply place a line down here. Ctrl R, place a line down here. So now that we know these lines are here, we can later on remove those. For now we won't do that, because we can actually use them for measuring. But we now know that we can simply just go ahead and we can work on only this one piece. Over here. Okay, what do we have here? So we have some cylinders. We have a little block over here, which I will start by making. So this will be extruded in. It feels like it has like little details around here. So I will just create, oh no wait, those are the triangles. The triangles are sitting exactly on the top of this, and that is what causing those details. So I will do those separately. Yeah, okay, let's just start with the big details. So there's going to be like a gap over here, a gap over here, and a gap over here. And that's the only ones that we will be focusing on. So if I have a look at this, I'm gonna go ahead and say, select this, and we should be able to just do Ctrl B. Make this the size of the gap. Yeah, that should work. And then immediately just do Ctrl R, because this is still the center. So we still need to kind of like preserve that center. Now we want to decide how big we want this to be. And this one will automatically also become the size of this one over here. So we've done those. Let's go over here. Ctrl B. Let's see, that is good. This one. Maybe a little bit thinner. Let's go something like this. And then Ctrl R over here. Okay, so this one we can cut out. Let's do Ctrl R. We are going to cut out. Actually, let's leave this in the center. So we are going to cut out this piece. And You know what, also let's cut out those pieces. Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. And then in the center actually also has one, which automatically has been created now. So I don't know if we just want to make this as big or maybe a little bit smaller. Let's keep it as big just to keep it nice and even. So basically what you want to do now is you want to just select these pieces, and the reason why we select all of them is because it just makes the symmetry later on easier rather than me selecting only like one face. So we will need to do some cleanup, but just go ahead and actually let's already do the cleanup now. Let's delete these side faces because we cannot actually use those. Hit delete. You can do this afterwards, but selecting it afterwards I realize might be a little bit annoying because it's going to be double selecting. I'll show you why. So if we do Shift E, extrude this down, this is what I mean with double selecting, because it would then have created another face, which will mean that we would then double click on each face just to delete it. There we go. So now let's go ahead and go to vertex mode. Now these are all double vertices in here. So what we can first of all try is we can just try and select, I don't know why I did that, just press A to select everything. And let's zoom in a little bit, and then you just want to go ahead and press Q and merge by distance, and we want to set this one a little bit higher. So we are going to set this to 0.005 maybe, and then you can see that it says removed 9 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. So you can just count to make sure that you didn't miss any. So those are now all merged together. So if you want, you can double check by just moving a face along. So that's those details. That's good. Now the next detail would be that there is this weird little gap. Well, it's not weird because it just holds where you can, for example, or you can open it up, or you can tie some kind of rope to it to like raise it above the ground, whatever. The thing that I'm looking at is it's weirdly smooth. This one it's a bit easier to see. So let's just go ahead and work on that. So if we go Ctrl R and let's place 2 lines like this. Let's go ahead and scale those out roughly to the size that you want. So just have a look at your reference, roughly what the size is. I will actually, by the way, stop moving my reference over and over constantly because that might become a little bit disorienting. I'm going to place the Ctrl R roughly around here just to create like that little gap. And I think that should work. So let's go ahead and select this. So let's go ahead and select this. Try that again. Use Shift E. Yeah, where is this line coming from? Is that what I accidentally placed? I think I accidentally placed this line. Let's press Ctrl B. Ctrl backspace, I mean. Okay, so anyway, we are moving this one down. And is this far enough down? Yeah, this should be far enough down. Then the next thing that you would want to do is you just want to select every single corner. Actually, you know what? Let's go crazy. Let's select all of it. And we are just going to make it smooth. So select all of it. I know I could have just selected the faces, but oh well. Let's do Ctrl B and just use your scroll wheel and just like make this interesting smooth little gap like that. And then in here we can later on just add some extra detailing. So we've done that one. The next big detail, this one I'm going to leave. I'm not going to make this one. I think that's it looks a bit strange, so I will leave that one. The next one would be to create like these cylinders, and they look pretty basic. So let's see if we can just make them, and we'll make them a little bit more interesting. Let's do Shift A and let's create a cylinder. Now for the faces, I do not think that we need 32 vertices, so 32 edges. So let's set this to 24, 18. Yeah, let's go for 18. Let's set them to 18. Then let's go ahead and move them over here. And let's start with this one, because this one is probably the easiest one. Zoom in. Oh, I should have probably gone with 20. Doesn't matter. Just because now the line, of course with 18, the flat split is here. But technically what we can do is we can just rotate it this 90 degrees. There we go. And now this line is exactly aligned, which just makes it easier for me to see where I'm going. So we want to make sure that it's exactly on this line. The reason for this is because, once again, symmetry. So for now, this should be fine. Let's move it up a little bit. And let's have a look. Let's move this. Looking at my reference, it's pretty much in the center. And then it just has like this face over here, which we want to move quite a bit down and then just scale this in. Select the bottom. Scale this out. Yeah, I think that looks good. Cool. It is like quite smooth around here. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to do that in the high poly, make that smooth, so that should be fine. What I am going to do is I'm just going to make this a bit more interesting by pressing I. Pressing I again to inset it twice. And then just move this down, just to give it like something there, like of a profile. Once you've done that, let's go ahead and duplicate this one. So we have one over here, which we can pretty much just place in the center. I'm just going to eyeball it a little bit. There we go. Place one over here. Once again, you can create other shapes if you want to, exactly like you can create a cube, or you can place a line here if you want to like have it exactly in the center, but often eyeballing it gets you close enough that it's not really noticeable if you are off with it. But of course for these ones here, I'm just rotating it so that I have this segment here. And now I know that that one is in the center. And now all I need to do is go over here. And this one is a bit more important to place in the center because it's exactly on the cross line. So we can be off like a few millimeters, but try to keep it nice and close. There we go. That looks good. Okay, so we got those ones done. Let's save our scene. And the next stop would probably be the triangles. Yeah, and I don't know what shape we have over here, but I'm just gonna make it into a triangle also. We can just create one triangle and just start populating this into an interesting pattern. It is quite an interesting look. I wonder what maybe they are there for grip. Like the triangles are there to give it a firm grip on whatever it's standing on or whatever is standing on it. So let's just get started with one. I'm going to probably start by placing one in the center over here, and doing it in the center often makes it feel a little bit less like symmetry. Now I don't know if we even have enough space in the center actually, now I look at it. Ooh, that is cutting it quite close for us to create a nice big triangle. So let's actually, in that case, just place it in the center of this square over here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and I have a feeling like this is, when we inserted this is not flat. So what we can do is we can just select the face, press Shift G and press coplanar. Yeah, see here, it's not flat. Let's also select this one, Shift G, coplanar. Just make sure that all of those, select this one, Shift G, coplanar. Come on. I was hoping that it would just select everything. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to scale this and then set the z-axis to 0 to scale it perfectly flat. Same technique as that we've done before. And now we can simply select this. I'm going to go ahead and move this exactly like here on the corner. And I'm going to go into my edit mode. First of all, let's decide what thickness we want this to be. Yeah, I think a thickness like that should be good. Let's do a quick pivot on this just so that it's in the center. I'm going to give it like, just for our ease, I'm going to just move it like a centimeter over the edge or in front of the edge, something like this. It will just make our life easier later on when we are texturing this, because I think what we are going to do is we are not actually going to make all of these into one object, which normally would work better for beveling, but I think the details are too small for us to go through the effort of doing that because it takes a lot of work. So instead what I would like to do is I like to go into my vertex mode, just press Alt X to go in X-ray, select the bottom two, press Q and merge at center, select the top two, press Q and merge at center. Here we go. And now that we've done this, I'm gonna go ahead and probably want to squash this down a bit. So let's try to select it. Okay, so let's go ahead and squash it down quite a bit, and then maybe if we just do a quick pivot again, scale this up. I'm just doing this scaling is quite important because everything will be will come from this one, because this is the one that we are going to duplicate. So let's make it a bit bigger. Yeah, I think that does the trick. So the next step would be for us to just select every face or edge, I should say edge, and press Ctrl B. And I'm just going to make this, yeah, I'm just going to make it like one bevel. I'm not going to go in and giving it like multiple bevels, because we are going to use this shape so often. I do not want to waste like a lot of geometry and that you will not be able to see. I'm just going to press Alt-I to isolate it so that I can select the bottom face and just delete it. Once again, you're not going to see it. Since we are going to duplicate this often, I just want to get like a good start. So I think that's about right. I think that works. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and start by, let's see, let's duplicate one over here, another one here, and another one here. So we just create like this, the three pieces. Rotate this. Let's move this one over here. I'm just gonna go from one. I'm not really gonna go by the reference too much in this kind of stuff. It's more like eyeballing it and just seeing whatever looks best. So for example, these three I'm going to select. I'm going to duplicate them and rotate them 180 degrees. And I'm going to move these nicely against here. So we have that one. Actually, this one I'm also going to go ahead and rotate this 180. Move it over here. We don't need to care about that one. However, what we can do is, and we will later on add some more details inside of Substance Painter, I should say. Like very flat details like we see over here and over here. Like we might be able to just also add some of those inside of Substance Painter. This is more like just the geometry detail that we want to work on. So we got those. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to select, let's see, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I think we can just reuse this. So if we just go ahead and select this, move this over here. I think we have a big enough space to only have like one here and then have the other one like on the other side. So, but of course, we don't need to make the other side because we're gonna go for symmetry. We can go ahead and let's select these two. Let's select these two and place another one in the center here, and then move this one back so that this one is also in the center. Okay, so we got those two. So that's all for like the gaps in between. Now it has like a pattern. It has like a triangle pattern, and let's see. So the pattern is right after this one, and it just kind of keeps going. So let's see if we can mimic that. So, and see if it looks good. That's mostly it. So I'm gonna select this one. Oh, we are running out of time for this chapter. What I will end up with is I'm going to select this one. Going to move it over here. Just do a quick pivot. Duplicate this and then rotate this 180 degrees. Move this one up a little bit so that we have like this little space in between. And what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to have this probably, let's place this in the center. I think the center will look nicest. Here we go. And in the next chapter, we'll just start by duplicating this and just seeing how it looks.